Hello my Wolfpack, and welcome to another draft analysis video. I could not think of how to say it there, but yes, we have a second draft. We have joined the UBLN, which I can't think off the top of my head, United Battling Nations or something, I think. I can't think of what it's actually, like, themed for off the top of my head, but, you know, we're gonna, oh, sorry, I just got distracted because I was looking at my hoodie and I thought, oh, wait, is this hoodie that I haven't seen in absolutely years that I used to absolutely love? But yes, to get into the video, yes, we have joined the UBLN. I am really proud of this draft. I think it looks really fantastic, considering I got sniped about 500 times during this draft. Literally, like, so many things happened. Like, my first pick was going to be Mega Lasgas, but that got picked early on. I wasn't expecting that. I was 5th, so I wasn't expecting that. I had 5 teams built. And this is kind of like a jumble of all of them with a little bit extra in here. I'm just going to bring Chimecho in a little bit, because Chimecho is looking a little bit lonely out there. It looks like it's trying to hug up to me, you see. But yes, we've got so many mons here, so many mons to talk about. Overall, I think I love this draft. I love this team. It looks absolutely fantastic. I've got a good amount of kind of defense with a Moonguss, Gardevoir, somewhat Drakeon, Conkeldur's pretty bulky, Chimecho can be bulky as well, can be a Wish Passer, Skarmory's bulky, but we've also got some sweepers in Jolteon, Marowak, Ambipom can be a sweeper, Black and Mega Guard, they're all, so we've got quite a good balance of defense and offense. This time we've got a few wall breakers that are going to destroy a few things. Obviously Mega Guard there is absolutely huge, it's going to be kind of crazy. I am really excited to use this team. I know I've said that like 4 times already, but I'm really excited to get going with this team. I've already prepped for week 1. I'm just curious about things. Sorry, I just a little bit out of it. I've my breathe. My hay fever is pretty bad at the minute, so I'm a little bit foggy in the head, just because I can't think straight. To be honest, I think it might be like a combination of hay fever and a sinus infection or something, but I'm recording this video because I want to get it out. But yeah, I love this team so much. I really feel proud of it. I originally wanted Incineroar instead of Marowak, and I was going to pick up Weezing instead of Drakeon, but I think Drakeon actually works kind of well here. It can knock off, it can poison jab, it can poison things. It's only weak to ground, which we also have Skarmory as a flying type, so it's kind of a good balance there. I've also got the immunity of the Levitate in Chimecho, which is something that I was really looking at. I'll go into each one in a little bit more detail, but overall, you can see I've got 2 cores here. I've kind of put them at the top and the bottom. So we've got the core of Black, Mega Gardevoir, and Skarmory. I think that's a really tight core. Obviously, Black does a heck of a lot. Could be a mixed sweeper, can be physical, can be special, and is pretty fast. You can chuck a scarf on it. I've decided to put Black as one of my Z users, just because it can really kick a punch if I need to, and I can just have it to something to completely destroy something. It more or less guarantees a kill on something if I have the Z move there. Mega Gardevoir, just such high, well, it's got base 100 speed, and I think base 165 special attack, so honestly, it's so destructive. I thought these two kind of pair together quite nicely. Mega Gardevoir's got 4 times resistance to fighting types, whereas Black is weak to it. I apologise, my nose is just playing up. The only issue here is that we have got a weakness to Steel, but we do have we have Skarmory. Skarmory comes in and is resisting the Steel types. We have other things that resist Steel types. I think Electric resists Steel types, so we have Jolteon, we have Marowak, we have Gastrodon. We have quite a few mons that are going to resist that Steel, so I'm not as worried about it. Obviously, I have to bring one of them every week, but we're limited in we're not too limited in choice, because we do have quite a variety of mons. Skarmory, I thought, comes through really nicely. It works really well. It can be really defensive. You can run it somewhat offensively with weak armor, see if you can get that speed up, and I believe it raises the attack as well. But I honestly will most likely use this as a Stealth Rock user. I believe this is one of my only Stealth Rock users. I'm not sure if anyone else gets Stealth Rock. I don't think Gastrodon does off the top of my head, but it might do. I can't think completely, but Also access to spikes as well, which can be really good. Defog, which I really needed on this team because we have got a little bit of an issue with rocks, especially with Current Black, Marowak. Those two are going to be suffering quite badly from the rocks. The rest of the team isn't too bad, but I just kind of needed something to get rid of rocks, especially if Current Black's going to be kind of a sweeper. Obviously, I can put Roost on it, but, you know. The second core we have is a Moonguss, Marowak, and Gastrodon. So I originally wanted Incineroar in this, as I said, but I think Marowak works really nicely. Hopefully we can get a Trick Room up every now and again. Really show off Marowak, because Marowak can completely destroy under a Trick Room. Completely destroy things under a Trick Room. I've actually got a couple of strats ready for Marowak in a few weeks' time, just to completely destroy. I apologise, there is a tractor going past, and that's probably making a lot of noise on the video. But I've got a couple of ideas on how to use Marowak in a few weeks' time. I basically, if I get a Trick Room up, it just completely destroys everything on a couple of people's teams. So I'm gonna be looking at that. We also have a Moonguss. A Moonguss is an interesting mon. Never really used it before, but it can be quite defensive. We can get Leech Seed out, we can Giga Drain, we can Sludge Bomb. Really can annoy those fairy types. We've got 2 poison types on this team, but I don't think it's too bad. I think poison is alright, especially considering one of them is weak to Psychic and one of them is weak to Ground, but the other one isn't weak to that one, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Also, I apologise for my hair. My hair is like really fluffy. I don't know why it is. I need to have a shower at some point, just because I haven't had one yet today, and my hair, I need my hair cut, so yeah. Don't need to know that. But Gastrodon is a very, very, very cool mon. I really wanted to draft it in the TBL, but I didn't get the opportunity to, so I decided to draft it in the UBLN. Luckily, it was there with, I think, a couple of the other mons went that round that were quite similar to it. So Gastrodon worked really well for me there. Literally, this can be defensive, special defensive. It's got Storm Drain, so it's not going to be hit by water type attacks, so can really pair up well with the Marowak. So essentially, the only thing that I've got that's got a problem from the standard cores, fire types are going to be causing an issue for a Moonguss, and grass types are going to be causing me no issue whatsoever. Electric types really aren't going to cause me too much issue. Water types aren't going to cause too much issue. Grass types, yeah, I've got the 4 times weakness on Gastrodon, but I've also got a Moonguss and a Lola Marowak, which can take the grass hits. So honestly, I'm not too worried about this. I feel pretty confident with this team. I think it's got a lot of good synergy going on, and that I am covering my bases. The only real big issue is the Steel type weakness. And possibly a fighting type weakness somewhat. I can't think of anything that really. I've got a little bit of a ground weakness, but I probably won't bring Drakeon and Jolteon at the same time anyways, and I would ensure that I have at least one either Levitate or Flying one. So yeah, we can deal with that, and I've been talking for like 8.5 minutes. So let's get on to Current Black. Current Black was a mon that I have never used before. Actually, I should say I've only ever used Ambipom in this team. I've never used any of the others competitively. I think I used Skarm like once, but that wasn't really anything proper. But Current Black, I really, really like it. I was considering picking up Dragonite instead of Current Black, but I thought, you know what, Current Black's still on the table, so I might as well give it a go. This thing can completely destroy. Base 170 attack, base 120 special attack, base 95 speed. Not the best speed in the world, but you can chuck a Scarf on it and it's going to be outspeeding most things. It's got such a cool moveset. The annoying thing is it doesn't have a strong stab ice type move that's physical. The only strong, it's special, it's got Glaciate, but Glaciate isn't a particularly good move. You have to charge it up, I believe, or you can't move on the next turn. I can't think which one it is. It's one of the two. Basically, it's a 2-turn move regardless, and I don't really want to risk that, so probably going to have to run Ice Beam. But this thing is things like Iron Head, it gets Outrage, Dragon Claw, it gets Fusion Bolt as well, so it gets so many different kind of attacks that you can really start putting pressure on things. The Water types aren't going to particularly want to come in on this. Nothing really wants to come in on this hugely, to be honest, because it can just really put a dent, so it probably is something that you come in with revenge kills, but then hopefully I have my other 5 mons to balance it out. So I'm not as worried about it as I would be. So I think, quite honestly, we will be fine. I am curious about how to run this thing, just because I haven't really used it before, and I think I'm going to have to work that out myself. But I think that I'm definitely going to be able to do that. I feel quite confident with this mon. I feel like it fits kind of my style a little bit. The only issue I have is that I have to probably run it mixed or special. I can't really run it physical because it doesn't quite get the coverage there. All it gets is Outrage, Iron Head, and Fusion Bolt, I think. I could run Glaciate with Icium Z if I wanted to, so that could all work. The reason I put this as a Z user is just because it has so many different things, and if you chuck it, it gets so many strong moves as well. So if you chuck a Z move on top of that, it probably will take out something. But obviously I would have to make calculated risks quite a bit. And our second one to talk about is Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir is really cool, as I said, really fast, really strong sweeper, really base 165 at special attack. I think its special defense is also in the 100, so I think it's base 135 maybe? I might be making that up. I think it's 135 or 130, somewhere around there. And honestly, it is such an incredible mon. It puts so much pressure on so many different things. Nothing really wants to take a Hyper Voice, Pixelate Hyper Voice. Nothing really wants to take a Moonblast. I don't really know what else I can say. Focus Blast also can deal with things like Steel types. You've got Thunderbolt, which can deal with quite a few different things. Honestly, Mega Gardevoir, I'm just really happy to have. This thing's probably going to be on most of the weeks. It's going to be a special sweeper almost all of the time. I have considered also that you can get Healing Wish on it, you can get Wish, you can get Calm Minds, and there's so many different options with Mega Gardevoir. Not that you'd ever really need a Calm Mind, but you can Wish Pass, you can Healing Wish if you're getting down low, and you're fast enough to Healing Wish as well without having to worry about having to take another attack. So in general, just Gardevoir is a really good thing. It runs Trick Room as well, so I can really work on that, work that to my advantage. Maybe Trick Room, Healing Wish combination would be quite nice. Still gives 3 turns to another mon to come in, and I have got a couple of slower mons on my team like a Moonguss and a Lola Marowak. Next up, we have Skarmory. I've kind of gone into a little bit of detail on Skarmory already, but Stealth Rock Spikes, it's going to be my Hazard Sarah and my Hazard Remover with Defog. Unfortunately, I don't have any Rapid Spinners this time, so that's probably going to be a problem for me. I do have to defog, which means I have to defog my own hazards if I've got them set up, or I have to deal with the hazards myself, which honestly is a little bit difficult, but we've got access to things like Iron Head and Brave Bird as well. Both stab, both pretty strong, and can put quite a bit of pressure on different things. Skarmory is just really defensive. I love the amount of defense it gets. And the access to Roost as well means that it has reliable recovery, so I can probably Toxic Stall as well if I needed to. Not that I ever want to Toxic Stall, because, you know, that's just the kind of game that you don't really want to play. Toxic Stalling isn't fun. I had such a stall team used on me before, and I don't know if I uploaded it to the channel, but I got so salty just because it was literally all stall. And I know my TBL team is a little bit more stally, it's very bulky, but I have kind of made some modifications to that team as well, and now it's looking less bulky, more offensively driven. But yes, Skarmory I really like. Obviously the only things it's really worrying about is electric types and fire types, but I have a coverage on that for like other things. So like Gastrodon can cover the fire types and the electric types as well, so the combination there can work quite nicely. I'm not too worried about losing Skarmory at all. I think it's mostly going to be a setup, so no, not a setup, a hazard setter, and then kind of come in, defog, Roost, maybe kind of figure out, maybe like, I probably will end up sacking Skarmory some weeks. I'm probably not going to run it offensively anytime soon. I might do. I haven't really considered it. I need to look at the teams, obviously, and see if an offensive Skarmory would work well. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Skarmory. Conkeldurr is a really cool mod, actually. I didn't even consider using it beforehand, but then I was like, you know what, this actually looks kind of cool. It gives things like Drain Punch with reliable defenses, or reliable HP stat as well. So it can live a hit, and it can also Drain Punch really strong, a really strong Drain Punch, and it can get quite a bit of its health back. So that's really reliable. You can have Assault Vest on this thing as well. Assault Vest Drain Punch works really well on Conk. Thunder Punch and Ice Punch to get rid of flying types. You've got Knockoff for psychic types. You've got Fire Punch as well, just in case there's things you don't want to deal with. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that will be problematic that needs a Fire Punch. Maybe things like grass types that could be like leech seeding you, kind of getting your health down. But the thing is, if it's like a part poison type as well, honestly, Conk just gets such a nice moveset. I think it gets Earthquake as well, which can be pretty cool, pretty handy to get rid of poison types that can be a pain in the bum. And yeah, honestly, I just really love Conk. I put Conk as a Z user as well, just because I didn't feel like I had that many Z users in this. I feel like most of my other mons kind of fulfill different roles without using a Z move, so I thought, you know what, let's chuck a Z user on Conk just in case I ever need that little bit extra damage, and I can then take something out, which Conk definitely has the stats for. This thing has Guts as well, so Guts, Flame Orb to get the boost there, which can just cause so many issues. I can't think what its other ability is, but I think its other ability is pretty cool. What is it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I would most likely be running Guts a lot of weeks with Flame Orb, just because Conk becomes an absolute beast at that point. If not, I'll be running a Z move, likely, or Assault Vest maybe. But yeah, I will definitely see kind of what things are doing. And yeah, I'm just excited to use Conk. Never used it before, but I kind of put some research in, and I think it's definitely going to be a viable member of the team. Next up, we have a Moonguss. A Moonguss, again, another one I've never used before, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Giga Drain, Leech Seed, Synthesis, Toxic, Sludge Bomb, so many different things. Hidden Power Fire as well, well, all Hidden Powers, but Hidden Power Fire specifically can deal with things like grass types that you can't really deal with otherwise, maybe like grass poisons as well. Things like Roserade, that comes in the top of my head. You can deal with ice types because they can be really frustrating. Moonguss is generally pretty bulky as well. It's got really good defenses. You can run it defensively, and it's going to be living a few hits. And just in general, I'm really excited to use it. I haven't got too much to say on the Moonguss, but I knew I kind of wanted to see it, and it was a tier 3 as well. Generally, I've only ever seen it in tier 2, so I thought it was quite a steal at tier 3. I did pick it up, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round. It might have been the 4th round. I can't remember what I picked up. I think I picked up Kyurem Black, Mega Gardevoir, Skarmory, and then a Moonguss, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I did pick up a Moonguss at that point. And I just thought, you know what, let's give it a try. I think it's going to work for me quite nicely. It's going to be a nice kind of pivot. And I don't think many things are going to be able to take it out too easily. And obviously, if it's fire type, I'm going to have an alternative in the team to deal with that. Jolteon. Now, honestly, I didn't really want Jolteon. I've had a couple of people already trying to trade with me, but originally my thought was Galvantula, because then Sticky Webs, Bug type with Stab, and also just a really strong Thunder with Compound Ice. I really was wanting Galvantula, but then one of the other guys, we were speaking, and he was like, I don't know whether to pick up Jolteon or Galvantula, and I honestly thought that Galvantula worked better for his team, so I said, you know what, pick Galvantula. He was before me, so I'm not the kind of person that will turn around and be like, no, you can't pick that because I'm picking that in a couple of turns' time. Galvantula would have worked quite well with this team, how I originally planned it, but it just wasn't in the cards. Then we had Jolteon, or then my next choice was Raikou, because I hadn't picked up Conkeldurr at this point. I was thinking I'll put Raikou in there. Raikou can just be an absolute beast. I've run especially defensively with Rest Sleep Talk before, and it's been absolutely incredible. The amount of people that don't expect that and just get caught off guard. And I think I had a semi-sweep with it. I think I got a 4-0 sweep with it. And yeah, Jolteon was just the last of the 3. We've got Volt Absorb as an ability and also Quick Feet, so if I get like a Flame Orb on this thing, we can 1.5 times our speed, which is basically a Choice Scarf with just 6% damage coming in every turn. Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, any Hidden Power actually, really, because, you know, Hidden Power is a pretty good move to have. Honestly, Jolteon is going to be putting so much work in. It's got a Volt Switch as well, so it's got a reliable switch out. We can scout out moves, or we can kind of predict a switch and Volt Switch out. Obviously, the things that I do have to worry about a little bit more are the water, ground types, but I can probably run Hidden Power Grass on those weeks rather than Hidden Power Ice, but obviously, again, it's kind of working out what I would need when necessary. But Jolteon's just got such good speed, base 130 speed, I think it's 110 special attack, if not a little bit higher, maybe 115, but it's just such a destructive mon. So I'm quite happy to pick it up. I did kind of get forced to pick it up a little bit earlier than I wanted to, just because Galvantula and Raikou went literally, like, I was 5th, and Galvantula went 2nd, and Raikou went 3rd. So I was very much like, okay, I need to get Jolteon now, because otherwise I don't know what electric type I'm picking up. But yeah, Jolteon I think is going to be really good. I can also run Volt Absorb if I'm predicting electric type attack, so say that I've got Skarmory there as well. Skarmory and Jolteon actually work quite well together. Only the fire weakness is the issue. And yeah, let's go on to Alola Marowak. So again, I kind of mentioned that I didn't really want Alola Marowak initially. I wanted Incineroar. But Incineroar got picked up literally like half a round. That's what I'd say. Half a round before. So I was like, okay, now I need an alternative, because at this point, Arcanine and Darmanitan had already gone. They were my two backups. I didn't really consider Alola Marowak beforehand. I wanted something a little bit faster, but I thought, you know what, let's go for Alola Marowak and see kind of how it can deal with things, and actually it can deal with things really well. Obviously, it's probably going to have to hold the Fit Club most of the time, just because it doubles the attack. Can definitely run Choice Specs Lightning Rod if I wanted to, but I'm a little bit dubious of doing that because that's more of a gimmick set, and I'm not sure that'll actually work. And it does mean that I definitely have to rely on getting hit by an electric type attack, and you know, the amount of times that you predict in Draft League format, I just don't think that that's really a risk I want to take. But this thing is Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone, Boomerang. I'm not sure if it gets Earthquake. I don't think it gets Earthquake. I'm trying to think what the other move it gets. I think it gets Stone Edge. It gets quite a few like physical moves. I think it gets Thunder Punch. All the elemental punches. So I can really, really put pressure on things. It gets Rock Head, so it's not going to deal with the Flare Blitz damage. And Flare Blitz just honestly destroys things. If I can get this thing under a Trick Room, this thing can sweep. This thing can definitely get a sweep going with Trick Room there. And I'm honestly hoping that Trick Room is going to work really nicely for me a couple of times. I've never run a Trick Room team before, but I think this is the opportunity for me to run Trick Room team, and I think it's going to work. At least I hope it's going to work. I'm obviously going to have to get some practice in beforehand because I have no experience with Trick Room teams. But the same, like I say, a year ago, I'd never really run a Screens team. I'd never bothered with Light Screen Reflect, but I've done that before now. So yeah, honestly, I think Alola Marowak is going to be really, really vital in a few matches. It's not necessarily going to be coming to all of them, but I think it's going to be a vital mon in a lot of my matches. And I think a lot of people are going to be anticipating it to come. So hopefully I can kind of deal with it as it goes. Yeah. So next up we have Gastrodon. Now Gastrodon I really wanted to pick up. I love Gastrodon just because it's got the water immunity, it's got the electric immunity, it's only weak to grass types, which is just absolutely huge. Grass type isn't that common in draft format, and also I was looking at like Infernape having Grass Knot. If it's max special attack, it still needs a nasty plot to be able to take me out, and even then it's only a roll. So honestly, Gastrodon can put so much work in. It can be specially defensive, it can be physically defensive, it can be special if it really wants to. I can chuck the specs on this if I want to. I can have leftovers, I can have Rocky Helmet, I can have so many different things on Gastrodon, and it can really work with them. We've got Scald to burn, you can get Toxic to deal toxic damage or recover, to heal yourself back up. Trying to think what else. There was another move that I really liked that it had. Got Earthquake and Earth Power. It's got the opportunity to run both physically and specially, just in case there are like physical or special sweepers. So I think Gastrodon is kind of working quite nicely for me here. I'm honestly really excited to use Gastrodon. I've never really used it before, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing. Not sure if it gets Stealth Rocks. I can't think off the top of my head if it does get Stealth Rocks. If it does, then that's a great alternative to Skarmory some weeks. But yeah, I've just got to consider the opportunities. This works really well with Skarmory as well, because Skarmory is 4 times resistance to the grass, and Gastrodon is resisting the fire and is also immune to the electric. So this pairing works really well together. Honestly, I think my team has such good synergy this time. I really think that without thinking about it, I kind of got a really good team that works really well kind of with each other, so I'm definitely prepared for a lot of different things. And yeah, that's it for Gastrodon. The next one we have is Chimecho. So a lot of people were really curious when I picked up Chimecho. I think I picked it up in round 8 or something. I picked it up really early, and at this point I was like, I need something that can defog. I ideally need something that's going to be like immune to ground types, and I need something that can like Trick Room or Wish or Healing Wish. And I was like, no mon fulfills that, but I only had like tier 4s and tier 5s left. I think I had 2 tier 4 or 1 tier 5 left, and I was like, no mon fulfills this. And I had a look through like what learns defog, and I was like, oh, Chimecho learns defog, that's really weird. Clicked clicked on it and I was like, actually, this learns Wish as well. This learns Trick Room. Wait, what's his ability? Because that I might use it. Levitate, perfect ability. So this Mon was perfect for the time. So I did get questioned kind of why I picked it up, and I probably could have left it a little bit later, but honestly, if I left it later, I really didn't want to risk it because it kind of pulled the team together. Having the Wish passing ability is really quite handy. I can have Toxic on it. Excuse me, I can have Calm Mind, Psychic if I want, Dazzling Gleam. This thing can do so many different things, and honestly, I'm just happy to have Chimecho on the team. I really didn't expect to pick it up, but you know, it just looks really good. It looks too good. I know we've got two Psychic types here, so we have got both Gardevoir and Chimecho, but the only thing I'm really worried about is Ghost types, which hopefully if I bring like Drakeon as well, if I'm bringing both of them, I probably will end up bringing Drakeon or Ambipom just to absorb those Ghost type attacks, because Drakeon resists it and Ambipom is immune to it, so I'll probably more likely bring Ambipom because Ambipom can put some work in. But yes, Chimecho is actually looking really good on the team. It can definitely set up my Trick Room for Lola Marowak if I want to, and it can also, it hasn't got too high defenses, so I can hopefully take a hit, maybe do a Wish or something, and then go down or something, or if I Trick Room and then Healing Wish if Lola Marowak is low. So I think some weeks I might end up bringing double Trick Room on things, so one on Gardevoir, one on Chimecho, just in case I need, like, I know that Marowak's going to be my win con some weeks, I know it's going to be my win con in some weeks, so I really do need that way of having a reliable Trick Room, and by having two Mons, I think I definitely do. And yeah, Chimecho just, generally I felt pulled the team together, having that Levitate really felt good with the Jolteon, and I was like, you know what, because I knew I was going to pick up either Drakeon or Skuntank in the end, and I was just like, this, like, I don't really want to have the double ground weakness with only having one immunity, and I don't think any of the other ones resist it, so I just needed something, and this one really worked, and just really came together, I'm honestly so happy with Chimecho, so yeah, probably one of my favourite members that I drafted actually, but I've never used Chimecho before in my life, so we're going to have to give it a go. Ambipom is the one that I have used before, and I love using Ambipom. It has such a versatile moveset. This is why I put it as a Z user. Also, its attack, I think it's base 100. It's not quite high enough. It might be, is it 100 or is it a little bit higher? I'm not sure. I can't think off the top of my head. It might be 110. But honestly, it needs just a little bit of a boost, and having a Z move on there can give it that tiny little boost. I can run Z Return if I want to. I could run Z Giga Impact if I really wanted to. I can run Firium Z. I can run Icium Z, Electrium Z, Bugium Z. I can run literally almost any Z move on this thing, so it gets such a variety of moves. Gets all the elemental punches, gets knockoff, gets U-turn to be able to get out of there, gets fake out. Fake out and return, a lot of Mons are going down to that if it's life orbed. I have found that in Showdown whenever I've used it. Generally, if I lead off with Ambipom, as long as it's not a defensive Mon they're using initially, I can usually get a kill for 20% damage. Ambipom's super fast as well. I think it's base 115 on his speed, and it just, I mean, it's not super fast, but it's pretty fast. It's going to outspeed a lot of things, especially Mons that you kind of send in to start off with to do kind of your Stealth Rock setting up, which a lot of people do at the start. I think Ambipom works really well because you can get a kind of fast pivot at the beginning, see what they want to lead with, kind of guess what they want to do, and you can U-turn out and kind of, if you want to go into a Magic Bounce Mon, not that I have a Magic Bounce Mon, but you can U-turn out and go into another Mon that can hopefully help you out more if Ambipom doesn't quite have the set, but it can have such a versatile amount of moves, like Ice Punch for Orlando T. Doesn't quite take it out, but it does. It doesn't quite take it out if it's defensive, but if it is offensive, it takes it out. But if a Fake Out combined with an Ice Punch will definitely take out Orlando T, and unless it's Scarfed, you are definitely outspeeding it. So yeah, Ambipom I think was just a really good pick. I did really want Linoon. Linoon was the one that I really wanted, and the Incineroar and Linoon were the only ones that I really wanted, and they both kind of got taken by the same person, so I'm a little bit salty about that. Just a little bit salty. I don't actually verse that person, I don't think. That's T-Shen. I don't think I battle him in the UBLN, but yeah, Ambipom I think was a really good second to have, and is honestly going to put a little bit of pressure on things. I think it's a very underrated Mon. Obviously it can't take too many hits, that's why I normally have it as Life Orb, just because it does that little bit more damage on things. But yeah, Ambipom I've always loved using. Ever since I've used it in like Gen 6, I've really enjoyed using it, and I just gonna keep on using it. I'm really happy to have it on the team for the UBLN Season 4. And then we have Drakeon. I think this is the last one I need to talk about, but Drakeon it was hard to decide between Drakeon and Skuntank, and honestly I was there humming and hawing for about an hour and a half, like which one do I actually pick. Drakeon I think had slightly better it had slightly better defense, slightly worse special defense, and I think its HP stat was slightly worse as well. But its attack stat is pretty good. It gets knockoff, it gets poison jab, it gets the elemental fangs. I can't remember what else it gets. It gets a couple other things. I think it gets get earthquake. I'm not sure on that. I think it gets stone edge. It gets X scissor. So you get so many different things with Drakeon. Honestly, it can hopefully be causing some issues for things like its psychic immunity. The only thing it's weak to is ground types, because it's got a neutral on fairy as well. But ground types I'm not too worried about if I've got Skarmory in the back or Chimecho. And yeah, honestly, I think Drakeon's going to put some work in when I bring it. I'm not sure I'm going to bring it many times, but I think when I'm going to bring it, it's going to be putting in some work. Unfortunately, we can't use Acupressure or Z-Acupressure to increase our critical hit ratio with Sniper. I have considered putting a scope lens on it just to increase the chances of critical hits. Like, I know it doesn't guarantee it. I did want to see if it had like focus energy or something, but it doesn't. Only Z-Acupressure would kind of work. But yeah, basically Drakeon is going to be kind of cool. I don't know if you can pass critical hit ratio, so maybe if I've got something that's got focus energy that can bat and pass. I don't know if Jolteon gets that, but that's kind of stuff that I will need to consider when I'm actually team building. But I think Drakeon can put in some work. I did choose Drakeon over Skuntank in the end. Skuntank did have the defog opportunity, which I thought, you know, that could really work for me, but at the same time, Drakeon kind of does work as well. And I know I feel like a complete traitor saying this because, you know, I'm the Suffolk Skuntanks, and I had the opportunity to draft my mascot and I didn't, so I do feel a little bit guilty about that. But, you know, you're seeing Skuntank on your screen in two forms, in the outline and in the booty. So, yeah, that is more or less it for kind of talking about the UBLN. I'm really happy with these teams. I'm really happy with my cause. I feel that this team has quite a bit of synergy going on with it, and that honestly it's going to put in so much work. The whole team is just comes together so well in the end. Even though I did get sniped a couple of times, I think that actually being sniped did work out beneficial for me, because I wouldn't have ever thought of having Chimecho, which I think is going to be putting in some work some weeks. I wouldn't have thought about a load of Marowak, which can honestly put so much pressure on so many different things. It can, if I get a Trick Room, honestly, it is more or less sweeping anything. Shadow Bone and Flare Blitz, just basically the combination there will destroy anything. And yeah, just having Mega Gardevoir there, just a really strong offensive presence. Same with Kurem. I've got really good defensive ones, so Gastrodon, a Moonguss, Conkelda, which is also physical as well. Then we've got Chimecho, I can run defensively. I've got Skarm that can run defensively as well. And like generally these ones are pretty versatile as well. They have quite good move sets, quite good move pools. The only one that I really have an issue with is Current Black, but I think I'm going to be able to learn how to work that one through. So yeah, I've kept you for over half an hour now, so I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please do like, subscribe and comment. Comment down below what you think my final score is going to be. So there's going to be 12 weeks in UBLN, so do you think I'm going to get like 6 wins, 6 losses, maybe like 8 wins and 4 losses? Comment down below what you think I'm going to get with this team. Obviously modifications will be made throughout the season, so if something's not quite working, say that Jolteon, I prefer the Galvantula and they're up for a trade, then I will probably go for that if it works for me. But yes, that is it, so I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to get up here. I'll see you soon.